why do so many people historically hate Jews?
Don't you ask them?
We've asked a few, but I want to ask you.
What are they
Oh,
saying?
I see. Oh man. All right, we're here with Yoni. I just met up with the rabbi. Told me all about Judaism. It was very interesting. Man, I feel like I wish every person got a in-depth class on every major world religion. I think you'd have a much better understanding on what's going on, be better able to form a more nuanced opinion on religion, whether it's Islam, Judaism, Christianity. I'm really glad we had that conversation. But he was cool. He welcomed us in his house, and I learned a lot. We just yapped for 50 minutes.
You can see why he's YouTube's most popular rabbi.
Oh, he knows how to spitball. He knows how to run with it. Yeah. No, we had a good chat in his house.
Yeah.
Don't include his address.
No, I'm not. Don't worry.
No, we learned a lot. It was interesting.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone would give a strong... I think there would definitely be fingers pointed towards their dominance in certain sectors of the economy, I suppose. I guess their disproportionate impact economically and some reference towards they believe there being some like back-end control over society, some like dark puppeteering or something. That would probably be like a mainstream Twitter narrative you might be able to stumble upon. But I don't know. We'll ask a few people though on the streets after this at some point.
Well, in simplified language, it sounds like jealousy. How come you've always been the richer one, the smarter one, the controlling one, the superior one? Well, what is that? That's jealousy. How come you get all the money? How come, try a little harder, maybe you can get some money too. Stop complaining.
So do you think even going pre-Holocaust, what was the impetus that caused people to hate and persecute Jews in that historical timeline?
It's all ego-driven. It's all jealousy. If you can't compete in productive ways, constructive ways, then you resort to violence to prove that you're better, stronger. It's like Hamas celebrates the success of their raid. What that means? We successfully raped and decapitated babies. That shows that God is on our side and we are the good people. How does that make any sense?
I've also heard the Jewish perspective that the Jews, as from their perspective and from what God has said, at least in the Old Testament, them as the chosen people, has led to a lifetime of persecution. So you think that, in addition to their status in society today, has led to some jealousy and just society wrong because insert Jew?
Well, yeah, for sure. There's no question that it's all jealousy based. Now, the question is, why does God make a statement like, you are my chosen, my firstborn? Why say that? Didn't he know it would create jealousy?
Sure, it seems like that's what God said. He's almost setting you guys up to get persecuted until the end of time.
On the other hand, if we are supposed to be the teachers and the role models, shouldn't he tell the world?
I see.
So what God is actually doing is testing mankind to see how you handle jealousy. Because if Albert Einstein had a brother, would his brother be jealous? Albert gets all the attention.
I'm sure. Human psychology would lead me to believe he would probably be somewhat resentful, wish he was as smart, wish he would get... Did he even get a Nobel Prize for relativity? I don't know. I'm sure he'd be jealous.
Yeah. But that would be very foolish, wouldn't it?
From what perspective?
Why does Albert get all the attention?
Sure.
He's some kind of an Einstein?
Sure, I get it.
Right?
Yeah.
He's an Einstein. What do you mean, why is he getting attention? So what is the alternative for the brother?
He can respect and show some respect to the fact that he's so gifted intellectually, and it's really cool. Albert, you're doing good work.
He can be proud of his brother.
Sure.
Those are the options.
Yeah.
You can either be jealous or proud.
Sure.
But you can't deny. You can't say, I'm just as smart, or I'm better.
Do you think the Jews think they're better than other people because they're God's chosen people? Like, what are your thoughts on a goy?
if you're chosen, you better be grateful and say, well, I don't care about being. No. If you're chosen, it is special, but you didn't do the choosing.
I see.
You were chosen. What it should make you feel is deeply responsible. Being chosen is not a privilege. It's an awesome responsibility. And that's why we're not always so good at living up to it, because it's a very heavy responsibility. But we have no choice. You're chosen, then start behaving chosen. What are you going to do? You can't run away.
Sure. So you have like Hitler dialogue that's saying the Aryans are the superior race. Do you think in reality the Jewish people are the superior chosen people, even ordained by God himself?
Doesn't it make sense that if you think you're the superior ordained people, that you would be the least likely to kill others? So how do you say we are the superior race, so we're going to kill everybody? You're
Sure.
contradicting yourself.
Well, I guess the concept would be, I don't know, eugenics, and they're trying to cleanse the gene pool from what they deem unviable, whatever the terminology they use.
Well, actually, Hitler's philosophy was that moral instruction, moral compulsion, moral restriction is unnatural, and it's killing people.
Interesting. Okay.
A human being should not be governed by morality. He believed that human beings should be barbarians. You do what you want to do to the best of your ability, and you should not have a conscience. He really believed that conscience is a disease that handicaps people. And therefore, those who represent values and conscience have to be eliminated.
So let's talk about killing people and war right now. Can you explain what's going on in Israel and how that relates to Judaism and Islam, or maybe the differences between those beliefs?
It is a completely religious war. Although it's hidden, it's never mentioned, it's never discussed, but it is purely a religious war.
So what we're seeing in Israel right now, or Gaza, the conflict in Gaza, I suppose, because that's the contested land, right? Just that strip. So the conflict in Gaza is Muslims versus Jews. Is that what it is? As simple as it gets?
And if it's Muslims versus Jews, then it's not about Gaza.
I see. Okay, it's people versus people.
Then it's global.
Okay.
Then it's
Give me a kind of a breakdown of how you see the war.
the religious issue. Very simply, is Israel is an inheritance. The land of Israel is an inheritance. God gave it to Abraham as an inheritance. He made it very clear, for you and your children for all time to come. An inheritance you cannot conquer. So somebody comes in and conquers Israel, it's not theirs. The only way that Israel can belong to you is if you inherit. That has been proven many times in history. The Babylonians conquered Israel. It never became Babylonian. The Romans conquered Israel. It never became Rome, or Little Rome, or New Rome, or Romania.
Got it.
It was always Israel, because the only way to own the land, to possess it, is through inheritance.
But from the other side, what is the other side's perspective? Because the people of Palestine, or is that Jordan from the Jewish perspective? Are these Jordanians that are claiming the land? Palestinians? What is a Palestinian from the Jewish perspective? What does that mean?
The word means nothing.
Okay.
The Muslims believe that they are the inheritors of this land because Abraham's oldest son is Ishmael. And they are descendants of Ishmael.
So Muslims are descendants of Ishmael.
That's the claim.
Okay. And is that corroborated by holy texts or the Torah or the Quran? What confirms that belief for them?
Nothing.
Okay.
The descendants of Ishmael are Abraham's children. Therefore, they are circumcised. Abraham was commanded to have his children, boys, circumcised. So they circumcise at the age of 13. They have no idols, no icons, no statues, no pictures, which was Abraham's teachings about God. And because Ishmael was the older son, they believe that they inherit the land, whereas we're saying we are the descendants of Yitzchak, the son that Abraham had with Sarah, and Yitzchak is the heir, and we are Yitzchak's children, so we inherit the land. That is the entire issue. Everything else is a red herring.
So Gaza itself, that contested strip, is a red herring for the average person onlooking this whole war?
Yeah, because the Muslims believe that Tel Aviv belongs to them and Jerusalem.
I see. Can you explain the concept of a two-state solution and the whole mantra from the sea to the something, we will be free? I don't know if you know what it is.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea, we will be free. What does that mean?
It means nothing.
Is it a call for all Jews to die?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why must all Jews die?
Sure. Why?
Because Jews challenge the inheritance. And the only way to get rid of that is that there should be no Jews.
So the possession of Israel, owned by the Jews, occupied by the Jews, that is a challenge to the Palestinians and what they believe to be their holy land?
To all Muslims.
Okay.
Palestinians are nothing, dude.
I see.
So,
what is Palestine?
a figment of somebody's imagination.
Did it ever exist historically? Okay. So when someone says free Palestine, what does that mean?
It means that they're ignorant.
Okay. Can you give me some more details? Because the average person watching probably thinks they know something about the situation, but the more I talk about it, the less I realize I actually know. What does free Palestine mean?
There are no Palestinian people before 1967. So there are no Palestinian people. There are Muslims who are Arabs who claim to be descendants of Ishmael, and therefore the land belongs to them. And that's why there will be no two-state solution, because as far as they're concerned, the entire country belongs to them. So what does it mean? Israel will give them Gaza? You're giving me my land? It's insulting.
I see. So can you explain the concept of a two-state solution and who proposed that?
Israel.
So Israel proposed to the Palestinians, as they call themselves, from your perspective, hey, why don't we just go splitsies?
Yeah, we'll give you some of the land. And they say, you're going to give me?
And they say, from the sea to the...
It's our land.
I see.
By inheritance. And that's a key word here. Like you can say, Israel has a stronger army, a better army, and we will beat you up and we will occupy this land. And they say, that doesn't make it yours. Yeah, you can beat me up. It's still my land. Okay. And that's why in 60 years, all the negotiations have been a failure, because we're not dealing with the issue. The land is all theirs without them having to lift a finger. That's what inheritance means. They can be sleeping and they inherit.
Got it.
And that's why even a baby is a threat to them, because babies inherit.
I see. So the gene pool as a concept is problematic.
Okay. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there's a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it. We have a Sunday night program for VIPs that you might be interested in. It's informal. It's questions and answers. It's conversation. It's really relaxed. It's really pleasant, enjoyable, informative, and kind of community-like. It's a Sunday night program. There's a Wednesday morning program for the VIPs, and there's a Wednesday night program. All of it just conversation, casual, laid back, unscripted. So join us. Take a look. Click the link below and see which of the three suits you best, and join us for some enjoyable conversation.